Tell me about your involvement with Novo Fogo and how you got interested in how, where you are with that agreement.
Yeah, interesting. I met some of the owners of Novo Fogo when I first came to the Sounders in 2014. I think my wife and I went to a bar in Belltown, and I always like cachaça. Caipirinhas is kind of like I describe it if someone's never had it. It's more like a rum-based margarita, if you will, sort of like muddled lime, some sugar, and instead of tequila, it's Brazilian rum. It's cachaça. But I met them there and had a good time with them, and now full circle, 8 years later, we kind of reconnected and started talking about some possibilities besides me, jumping on board as a partner. Also helping, for one, design some of their packaging for me as an artist. That was a really cool idea. And another thing, really kickstart another project that they're calling Tree Keeper. We're calling Tree Keeper program. And because the company, like I said, I think they make an amazing product. If you haven't had it, we'll make sure to send you some. Uh, but it's also about we're we're carbon negative. We're trying to get some of the trees that are on the endangered species list. We're trying to get those off. So there's a lot of good that's being done uh, uh, away from just trying to sell some good cachaça, and that really spoke to me. That's why I wanted to team up with them.
That makes sense that you wouldn't just do it for the product. There has to be some good in it elsewhere, and that's pretty important to you, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think we all play our part, and I feel like I have a bit of a platform, and I really enjoy trying to form some partnerships, but they have to be meaningful partnerships, for both sides. And for me, nature is important. I'm my family. We recently moved to Bainbridge Island and loving it out here, and realizing how important nature is for us humans too. So I think that the fact that that's been a really important part of them as a company, it spoke to me immediately. And then we, like I said, we were able to come up with a cool way to even go a step further by me jumping on board. And instead of just kind of expanding that project, we're kind of making it even bigger by calling it a tree keeper program. So even every save that I make during the season, or the goalkeeper that's playing on my behalf when I'm not in goal, $100 is going to that unendangered species forest project, if you will. So that was a really cool one. I had a tons of fun to also create a logo for that one. And this is kind of like the beginning of that project. I'm kind of the captain, if you will, the first one out the door as in the tree keeper crew. But we're looking to kind of expand that down the line, and add some more tree keepers that are willing to. It doesn't have to be a goalkeeper really, but just someone that wants to help protect the forest, especially in the Amazon, and make sure our planet's healthy and we're taking care of it.
When you say you helped design some of the artwork, tell me a little bit about that.
So I mean, I have to say that their stuff was already, the design was amazing. So for me, it was just a really cool experience and opportunity to come in and kind of ask them what do they want new, and me as an artist thinking about what is the connection between Seattle and Brazil, because it is a Seattle-based company, but the distillery is down in Brazil. A full women distillation team, by the way. And so I kind of, to me, Brazil is soccer, which is obviously also one of the the connections right there with me. But it's soccer, it's color, it's samba, it's joy, it's rainforest, and just a lot of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to still, as much as when you're designing, for example, packaging, it needs to be legible and you need to take some things into consideration. I still wanted it to be an art piece. So I can show you, like I made, these are prototypes, but it's very colorful stuff, with the Brazilian rainforest in the back, and still kind of my art style a little bit, and it wraps around the whole outside. So I designed some packaging, as you can see, with all the different flavored colors on it. But yeah, so very playful, but still artsy. And it was a challenge, but it was super exciting. And obviously, once I picked up an injury, I was able to kind of dive full steam ahead into that and make good progress on it.
Yeah, because I know the artwork behind you is much different than the artwork you just showed me on the box and the creations you had there. So, was it a bit of a mental shift for you, or as an artist, are you able to just kind of shift gears kind of fluently?
I really welcome that challenge, right? Because I think you can't just have one way of approaching something, especially when you have, in this case, you have it's I don't want to say it's a commission, but there's a goal. You can't just be like, I'm gonna draw a couple of lines across a box and that will somehow work. I love my geometric style when I make canvases and things. I think I will always go there because that's the goalkeeper in me, speaking. But I really embrace the challenge of, because this is a new world for me as well. What does it mean for a consumer when they look at a box? How long do I have their attention span? So, you can't just have random abstract geometric shapes on a box because the people are going to get confused. So all these new challenges and new thoughts in how I should approach a design was difficult, but I definitely welcomed that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're right. It seems like we all have that shorter attention span now, and they don't want to stare at a box and try to figure something out. The simple it is, the better off in getting your word out there.
Yeah, I mean, and there's even sayings that I learned along the way, the 5 and 5. In 5 seconds from 5 feet away, you got to be able to somehow hook the consumer, right? So, for me as an artist, if I'm designing a canvas piece, it's almost the opposite. I want them to stand there for hours on end and get lost in little pieces left and right. You don't have that luxury when you're trying to grab someone's attention in the store as they're getting groceries, right? It needs to be pretty quick, and they need to know quite quickly what they're looking at and figure out whether they're interested or not. So that was a really cool challenge. Yet again, like I said, I didn't want it to be just based on that. I still want it to be an art piece, if you will. So that's what made it such bright colors, such joyful colors, in my opinion, to look at. And so it was a really cool way to try to navigate that and find the balance.
I think, judging from the boxes you showed us, I think you captured it, man. I mean, how long did it take you to do that? Like maybe from your initial thoughts to getting it into a box and being satisfied with that final rendering. How long did that take?
Oh, it took a long time. It took a long time because there's so many different ways of approaching it, and I feel like at some point you just have to try to finish one tiny little section to what you think it could look like, and then you can kind of figure out, okay, that could work for the rest, and then you build it up. But it's also a completely different process if you are, this is going for a product with, there's a lot of writing on a box. So there's a lot of players involved. There's a lot of people that are involved during this design process. So you're kicking it back and forth numerous times, and there's lots of adjustments along the way. Again, something completely new for me, because when I'm in the studio and just doing my canvas, I'm in my own spot, I'm in my own zone, and the only one that really has an opinion on, maybe my wife has a bit of an opinion and lets me know where it should be going, but for the most part I'm the only artist really putting anything on there. So when it comes to something of this magnitude, it's definitely unique the way that process evolves, and how the design starts out, and how you end at the final product is definitely a journey. It took a while. It took a while, but I had fun along the way.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, so you've got a great drink, you got a great product, flashy box, and the product and the company are helping the environment. I mean, that all kind of screams Stefan Frei. Like, that sounds like something all encompassing for someone like you that really wants to wrap your arms around it.
Yeah, and for me, authenticity is important, right? I think I'm at a stage in my career where, at least locally, I think somewhat recognizable, and there's certain things that you can do. I don't want to say as an influencer, but small things that just would be some meaningless associations, and I'm not really looking for that at all. For me, it's always very important to be that it has to be authentic. There has to be reasons why you are associated with something, and why, because you want to be passionate about it. You want to put some sweat into it. It's got to be authentic, and so all the things besides, again, And as you will see, a good caipirinha with a quality cachaça is a lovely drink, especially during the summer. When it's hot outside and you need something refreshing. So the product's phenomenal, but the Tree Keeper program, the carbon negative part of it, the art, there was just so many things that really made me feel like this was a great fit, and so far it's been an amazing partnership.
Yeah, I mean, I think fans of you, fans of the drink, they can see your authenticity, and I feel like, as a closing thought, that when they hear you talk about it and they hear about the reasons you're behind the product, makes them want to buy it a little bit more, and taste it a little bit more.
Yeah, I have these conversations. I've had these in the past with authenticity. I'm an athlete, right? And this is rum. This is a spirit. And my mom even asked me, she's like, well, what's behind it? Do you think people could think that is not a good connection? But you hit it perfectly. I think when people realize all the things that go around it, then it is a perfect match, and it really does work. I'm exceptionally proud of the Tree Keeper program, and I'm super happy to be able to spearhead that for Novo Fogo, because we have high aspirations with that one. Like I said, I'm the first one, but we want to branch out in this league. We want to branch into other sports. We want to bring in other personalities that don't have nothing to do with sports, but that feel like it's important to help this planet and try to protect species that are on the endangered list. So I'm really excited. It was a really cool logo, as you can see right here. It's kind of like sort of me making a save, and yeah, I mean that there was about 12 iterations made, all by me on the logo, trying to figure out, again, exploring recognizability and things like that. Instead of just writing my name on it, what is something that people may identify me with, or especially in the local area. And so it was a really fun exploration to come up with the Tree Keeper design and logo. And yeah, I can't wait to see where it keeps going.
Yeah, I love the marriage, man. I love that logo too. It's very cool. All right, let me just ask you a couple soccer questions, and then we'll just let you go. But where are we with your health and your, as you look ahead to the rest of the season? Where do you think you're going to be in September?
I expect to be playing in September, so it's been a frustrating injury for me. I have to say, I mean, obviously at first I was more lucky than anything. We expected an ACL tear, especially with the San Jose doctor at hand from Stanford giving me the verdict that it was 90% an ACL tear. We weren't really too excited to go to the MRI and figure it out. But when the MRI came back negative, we thought we were dodged a bullet on that one, obviously. And with the blood clot, coming, that was obviously that was a bit of a bummer. And so it's a very strange time, because usually I've had adductor tears and things like that, and you can kind of work through them. You can have them heal as you're playing, but this was a bit more of a severe injury that needed on the knee, that needed time to heal. And then on top of that, the blood clots just, I think there's a standard protocol, because they are extremely dangerous, and we just kind of had to follow that protocol, and that meant that I had to be on blood thinners for a certain period of time, and I'm still on that, and I'm kind of have just in a waiting period to get off those medications before I can join full contact sport. Now, at the same time, what it means is that I was able to hit the gym extremely hard. I think I'm in the best shape of my life right now, and I've already upgraded to being able to do controlled practices with the goalkeeper. So I'm in full goalkeeper sessions at this point, and almost getting a second preseason, if you will. So I just have to wait a tiny bit longer, and then once those meds come out of my system, then I'll be back to the squad in full, and hopefully can help contribute, get back to onto the right side of things. But so far, it's been amazing to see the squad battle through absences, injuries. Difficult spots, and now I'm kind of excited for us to find ourselves in a challenge, a mental challenge, right? We've had such an amazing year. and we've conquered almost every challenge. But now it's about finding a way to dig out of this hole mentally and get on another run. And now that I've rejoined the team, I'm happy that I'm kind of able to help the squad, at least in the locker room, to try to find a way out of this.
Well, you can't really pinpoint a return date because I'm sure the team would never let you say that. But ideally, you'd like to be back. I mean, as soon as possible. But you got to work your way back into this thing. How much of a mental challenge will it be for you to test that knee?
I mean, I have a date in my head, and I'm not going to say it because there's obviously things that can happen from there until now. But it's been challenging, like I said, because I pride myself when I have an adductor tear that I do everything I can, and I seem to surprise every doctor when I come back quicker. How is he already playing again? This is ridiculous. But with the blood thinners, there is no wiggle room. There is no I can do better, and now all of a sudden you're on this medication for less time. There is just a certain protocol, and there's nothing that you're going to do about it, right? So I think I've on the knee side, I've come back quicker, and it's allowed me now to progress to a later stage in terms of the workload I can do on the training pitch right now. So it just gives me more time at that stage before I get off the medication. So I've been able to fully test it now. I've been able to literally fully test it to the point like any other goalkeeper on our squad tests their whole body every day. I'd argue even a little bit more because Tommy knows, our keeper coach knows that I don't have any games to look forward to. So he works me as hard as he can. But I enjoy that because, like I said, usually in a season, you don't have that opportunity, right? In a season, you have a Saturday game. And now look, our next game is maybe midweek on a Wednesday. There is no opportunity for you to go to crazy training. So for me right now, that is the opportunity. I can work on technique. I can work on my physical level, like try to improve that. So I'm enjoying it because I want to come back stronger, better, faster, mentally better than I was before this injury.
All right, one last question for you. You do a great job on the broadcast, by the way, man. Really enjoy listening to you and having Casey in there with you. Having two star goalies chatted up about soccer is great for the viewers, for sure. And your insight is excellent as usual. I'm sure that everybody's come to expect that from you. But how do you enjoy being in the booth? Tell me some of the things you like about it.
It's funny because I've been telling our media people for the longest time, for probably the last 4 years, is that if I'm ever injured or anything, please like give me the opportunity. I would love to get my feet wet. And luckily I've never really been injured to the point where the opportunity arose. So but they kind of came through, and I have to say that the broadcast crew, all the way like to I mean, Casey Keller, Keith Costigan. I did one with Steve Zakuani, the whole crew, all those people. I really appreciate the opportunity because obviously it's a job for them, and it's a bit of a liability to get a rookie in and trust them to not screw up the whole broadcast. But it was amazing. I loved it, and I kind of loved all the things that I expected I would love most. So you have kind of like the pregame show is a bit more nerve wracking because there's a bunch of cameras you have to look into. You kind of know exactly when the camera's coming your way. So while you're waiting, thoughts are going through your head. There's a lot of you're trying to perfect those things, and then there's lots of room to grow for me there. But I think as soon as the game starts, I love that part because now you can really share the things that I see, and in a way, I mean, I've been playing the beautiful game since I'm 6 years old. So it's at this point, almost 30 years, 29 years of playing this game. So it's almost like I have an education in soccer, and I see certain things that maybe people don't really see. So that's kind of what I want to share, especially from a goalkeeper's view, where you have to analyze everything anyways and try to be prepared as best as possible. I want to take people into those situations and make them realize why someone makes a certain decision or is in a certain position, so that they can kind of feel the game or envision how it could feel to be standing on the pitch and seeing these situations develop. So I hope I get another chance when I'm done playing. I hope I wasn't too annoying and people didn't have to mute me, but it was a really cool experience. I really enjoyed it.
So that's it. We're not going to see it. We're not going to see or hear you on broadcast anymore. You're done for now.
So I think for now I'm going to take a step back. I'm really excited to now really focus on fully 100% on my recovery, and part of that are small things. And this is going to sound really silly, but during broadcast I wanted to give it my full attention, and there's rehearsal and all those things that are happening before the game. But I get to actually go out and be part of the game, or at least part of the pregame in the stadium, and help warm up the goalkeeper, and also take some crosses myself and see myself making saves in the stadium again. Those are all mental things that I think are going to go a long way when I am actually able to come back fully. So that's what I'm going to focus on in the next couple of games, and like I said, further and slowly more and more reintegrate myself into the squad, to the point where I get off that medication and I'm rolling and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, well, I know your fans are definitely anxious to see you back on the pitch, man. Good luck with the new product, and I love the project as a whole for sure. And we'll be seeing you out on the field soon. Thanks a lot, Stefan.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.